Welcome to Campfire Conspiracies, where the fire is warm but the stories send a chill down your spine.
Wait, did you hear that? Welcome to Campfire Conspiracies Season 2. This is Summer.
I'm Samuel, and we're a podcast that talks about all things creepy, cryptic, and conspiracy related.
We talk about the paranormal, the macabre, and the mysterious, and we do it in a way that makes it competition for both of us, as well as the listener.
That's right. Each episode of each season, we take turns talking about two different stories of that episode's topic, and we leave it up to you, the listener, to decide who wins each round.
The loser at the end of 6 rounds, so 6 episodes, has to do whatever predetermined punishment we set out at the start of the season. Last season, Sam won, so I had to dye my hair a horrible mixture of purple and blue. Did not go well.
No, it didn't. This season, though, the loser will have to get a piercing wherever the winner tells them to. That's not even the best part, though. One of us isn't the only one that will win. For every episode you vote on, you automatically get your name added to a prize draw to win a free shirt of your choice, designed by yours truly, that is related to one of the topics we've talked about in the season.
The more episodes you listen to, the more times you vote, the more chances you have of having your name pulled out of the hat. Just remember, you're limited to 1 vote per episode, so please make your vote count.
Today we're talking about alien races. But before we get into today's stories, let's talk a little about some news that's been making its way around the campfire.
And the news is, China has just launched a reusable experimental spacecraft into orbit. Its purpose is to spend a period of time operating in orbit. It will then return to its scheduled landing site in China. It will test reusable technologies through the duration of its flight, providing technological support for the peaceful use of space.
Also in the news, the star system GW Orionis, which is located about 1,300 light years away from Earth in the Orion constellation, has 2 stars locked in a close dance with a 3rd star circling around them. Around the 3 stars is a broken apart disk of dust and gas where it is theorized that the planets could one day form.
And lastly, record-breaking gravitational waves have revealed that mid-sized black holes exist. 2 black holes have been found orbiting each other, sending out ripples of gravitational waves before they merge into one mid-sized black hole. And just a bit of a warning for this episode. We have our dog, Darcy, in here for the recording because he's annoying the hell out of our roommates. So you may hear him.
I'll try and cut him out as much as I can, but no promises.
But anywho, on to the topic. So we are covering alien species. Definitely a Sam episode.
Yes, it is. Which is fitting because I get to go first. The topic that I have picked for today, it was a tough one. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go with the canonic and, general grey aliens, tall, short, whatever, they're the same. Or if I wanted to go a little far left field, a little more north of the hemisphere than the grey aliens that appear in
I'm
the US.
already lost.
I know, but, some listeners won't be because they pay attention to the truth.
Oh, God.
So I've decided, instead of going for those grey, non-humanoid aliens, oh, no, they're still humanoid, grey, not so human-like looking aliens, and I decided to research a little bit more into something I wasn't quite as well versed in. So I went for Nordic Aliens. Nordic aliens are humanoid extraterrestrials. When they first arrived on Earth in the 1950s, they said they came from Venus. However, later they claimed to come from the Pleiades, a cluster of stars northwest of the constellation of Taurus. It has not been confirmed by them where they are actually from, or whether Venus or the Pleiades are even their true home. It's possible they have kept their home a secret from us for security reasons. I mean,
I feel like they sound pretty chatty if they're just keeping that on the down low, but will give us all this other information. I haven't even told you any of the information that they've given, and you're already trying to debunk them. Let me say my piece. Many people believe Nordics to be emissaries of God sent from space. Nordics are also known as tall whites and space brothers. Okay. I have some opinions on that too.
I just want to say, just because I researched them doesn't mean I believe in them.
Okay, sorry. Yes, continue, please.
By many, they are thought to be the angelic beings represented in many religions as well as ancient civilizations.
So, Michael and Lucifer, they're aliens.
Sure.
Alrighty.
Nordic aliens are possibly the most human in appearance of all known extraterrestrials, as they closely resemble those of Scandinavian descent. They've been described by contactees as being 6 to 7 feet tall, with long hair that is blonde or even reddish. They also have either blue or green eyes and fair skin. Some believers claim that Nordics lack irises and wear contact lenses to blend in when they visit our planet. Many contactees claim that these beings also lack a sense of smell and are 4th and 5th density beings, meaning they operate on a different level of consciousness than humans. Nordics travel in craft that is usually either spherical shaped or cigar shaped.
Oh, like Pine Gap.
Yeah. They use these craft to observe, viewing events, and even contactees from within them. The way they communicate is through contactees or telepathically. It's been written in ufology literature that Nordics are benevolent or sometimes even magical beings, whose sole purpose is to observe and communicate with humans, and are concerned about the Earth's environment or prospects of world peace. Believers of the Nordic race also say they've got telepathic powers, that they're watchful and paternal while still being youthful. Contactees claim to have received channeled messages of peace and love.
Peace. Love. You know, they sound a bit like fairies. Celtic fairies.
They also sound like Mr. Burns.
Peace.
I bring you peace.
Do they glow?
I can't remember. It's been said that Nordics have shown concern with the spiritual evolution of humanity and have often reminded contactees of how similar we are, even saying we're related, but simply at a lesser developmental stage than the Nordics. Perhaps this is why some contactees believe them to be angelic in origin, and even messengers of God. What?
Fairies.
Fairies are small.
No. Tell an Irish person that.
Cultural historian and film critic David J. Scarl believes that early Nordic stories may be partially inspired by the movie The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Oh, yeah.
Which was released in 1951.
That is an unfortunate truth with a lot of UFO and alien stories, is it does seem to coincide with something happening in pop culture.
Well, if you remember the Australian guy that disappeared on that flight.
Right, he was a big ufologist, right?
The Spielberg movie came out, and then apparently he was trying to recreate like the opening scenes or something, and then that was one of the theories, at least for his disappearance. But yeah, for those who haven't seen it, or the 2008 loose adaptation, in the 1951 movie, an extraterrestrial arrives on Earth to warn humanity about the dangers of atomic weapons. The 2008 adaptation warns of nuclear warfare and the environmental damage on the planet. A Bates College professor, Stephanie Kelly Romano, describes beliefs of alien abduction as a living myth, and stated that among their believers, the Nordics are often associated with spiritual growth and love and act as protectors for the experiences. During the 1950s, many contactees, especially on the European continent, claimed to have had encounters with the Nordics. Over the decades, though, the claims became relatively less common due to an increased number of reports of grey alien abduction stories in the US. I'm going to share now a few notable people who claim or were speculated to have been abducted and or made contact with these Nordics. One of these noteworthy cases is that of Travis Walton, a logger in Arizona. He, along with his lumber crew, came across a hovering alien craft. He was knocked unconscious by a beam of light that was emanating from the object. From his account, he says he was taken aboard this alien craft where he encountered several types of beings, including a Nordic-like race of tall white humanoids. After 5 days, he was released and his story became a news sensation. He shared his experiences in his book, appropriately titled The Walton Experience, which was the basis for the 1993 movie Fire in the Sky, a movie I have not seen, but after watching the trailer while looking into Walton's story a little more, I have realized just how loosely based on true events
I was just going to say, yeah. Okay.
the movie can be.
We should watch that. Date night.
Okay. Billy Mayer is another. He was a Swedish farmer who claims to have been in contact with the Plejarians, a Nordic extraterrestrial race. He's spent his life photographing and filming these beings, being in contact with them so that he can deliver their messages of peace and love to humanity. Another, George Adamski, was an early Nordic contact from the 1950s. He claimed to be in contact with a group from Venus. He wrote several books on these occurrences and said his materials were cleared by the FBI and US government. This next one may surprise you, but I find it completely believable. President Eisenhower, the 34th President of the United States, succeeded by another man wound up in conspiracy, President John F. Kennedy, was rumored to have had a secret meeting with a group of Nordic extraterrestrials. Apparently, they were attempting to convince him to disarm the United States nuclear missile program in exchange for advanced tech. This meeting is said to have taken place in February 1954, only a year after being elected into office. The meeting took place at Edwards Air Force Base, though to keep it top secret, people were told he was undergoing emergency dental surgery. However, it is believed that Eisenhower did not enter a treaty with the Nordics, but did instead enter a treaty with the Grey Aliens. This pact ensured the US could keep its nuclear arsenal and still received advanced tech from the extraterrestrials. In exchange for this tech, Eisenhower agreed to allow Greys to abduct and experiment on American people, no questions asked. So that's the Nordics and even a little bit of US conspiracy for you. One thing I will say though.
Okay.
And this will tie in with your topic, as you'll find out. It's widely believed that the Nordics split off. So there's, as with most things, there's good and bad. So the Nordics split off and there was a good sect, which is what I'd covered. But the bad Nordics, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, they went underground. There's books written about it. There's, fantasy books as well.
And this all happened since the 1950s.
This all happened around the 1950s too, yeah.
Right. Because I feel like if there's bad and there's good Nordics, then that again would go in with the fairy theme of the Slee and Unslee court.
Sure.
So the good and the bad, but really different moralities.
Yeah.
The light and the dark fairies. So,
but they were also saying, in the 1950s they were prominent, but it was back like even as early as like the early 1800s.
And yet the eyes. So fairies, some tales of fairies, it was the eyes that would always look a bit off. Something about it. Yeah.
See, for me, it wouldn't even be the eyes that would strike me as weird for these Nordics, because they're 7 fucking feet tall.
One thing, so when I have read people's experiences with Nordics, the way they talk about Nordics, it is like the most perfect people you can think of.
It's almost whimsical and like...
Which I think is where the angelic idea comes in. But again, that would lean it towards fairies for me now. I've never had this thought before, but now a few little things are coming together and I'm thinking they're fairies.
But that's what I was thinking about the angelic thing, right? Was when you mentioned Lucifer.
Yeah.
Was because of the light and dark side of them, Lucifer was the one that
like
led,
the underworld and
led
heaven.
them to the underworld, like led them to the, to underground. And that's, the evil Nordics, the ones that supposedly helped Hitler, apparently. So, yeah. But I didn't put that in because I didn't want to start talking about, I already touched on the Greys and everything, and I didn't want to start touching on your realm where you'll be talking,
touchy.
So, yeah, but I thought, it's interesting.
I will admit, so yeah, really massive skeptic in this regard, obviously, but I have read stories of the Nordics, the Greys, and even the Reptilians, which is what I'll be talking about, and been like, that actually does sound like plausible. Or the person who's presenting it can present it in such a way with such sanity, such like in such a practical manner.
Yeah.
That it makes me think, okay, you're kind of giving me confidence in your story.
Yeah. And I see, for me, like the Eisenhower theory, right?
The Eisenhower.
I am 100% on board with that. The only thing I don't agree with is that it was the Nordics. I think what may have happened is someone's gotten hold of some redacted files, seen the word alien, and thought, oh, they mean extraterrestrial as opposed to someone not of American soil. So for all we know, the Swedes may have tried to go in negotiation with them, with the US at some point. Not necessarily about tech. Maybe they were just trying to, peace treaty or something, And instead they, said, no, fuck you, because we're American, we do what we want. And yeah, that's what happened. It's hard for me to sort of like put my mind around humanoid aliens. Like, I don't see that we are, the perfect look. You know what I mean? Like, look at us. Like, humans don't have it all figured out. There has got to be so many different...
If they're trying to communicate with us, though, wouldn't you choose an image that would comfort? So the idea of the perfect human.
So what you're saying, like they've got like cloaking capabilities. That's sort of like...
Or if they're so above us, then maybe it's
shapeshift or something.
And they're psychic, right? They can communicate telepathically. That they're communicating what they look like telepathically too.
I suppose.
So visually, what we see.
So they could literally just be these tall, like gangly spider-looking aliens, but what we're really seeing is these beautiful angelic Nordic.
They could look like poles, but they knew that the best way to talk to us was very, very pretty Nordic people.
I don't know. I think I'd trust the soothing voice of Seth Rogen before
soothing voice of Seth Rogen.
Before I trust anything that any other Nordic alien has to say.
Okay.
So, I don't know. That's just me. But yeah, so that was Nordic Aliens. And like I said, I'm not a believer, but it was a fun subject to look up for sure. And I love the idea of aliens. I think you'd be stupid to... I've said this before in previous episodes, but you'd be stupid to not think that there's some sort of life out there, whether it is, just microbial aliens. Because, the universe is ever expanding. And like was said in one of the news articles, like there's a bunch of dust in some far off place, 1,300 light years away, that may end up eventually turning into a planet. Like, who knows?
Yeah.
Millions of years from now, that might end up harboring some sort of life,
Sure.
We're not going to see it, but it doesn't mean it's not out there.
I would like to say, if you do ever want to listen to a podcast on aliens, where they maybe don't laugh so much and really consider that aliens could be among us, check out Aliens Like Us with comedian Rhys Darby. So he is a believer, and some of the guests he has on are like experts in this field. So check them out. Okay, so now that we've done with the Nordics, I'm going to bring you the Reptilians.
Cool.
Okay.
Are we talking like Reptilians from V?
Yeah, so when I was researching that, I kind of just went straight past having to watch a TV show as research again, so no, I don't really know.
Have you ever watched V then?
No.
No?
No. But yes, people
Weird
were trying to
show.
referring me to it.
Because like it's the same sort of like thing as the underground aliens with the skin like
Yeah.
This is an episode.
No, I don't really want to get into it.
No, just quickly. I remember watching it because it came back on TV and my dad was like, "Oh, you've got to watch this show." I didn't have to watch this show. I wish I never did watch this show. An alien, a reptilian, he posed as a teenage boy and got a teenage girl pregnant. And she gave birth to a reptilian alien, and it wasn't until she gave birth that she realized he was an alien. So
like half human and half reptilian, or just reptilian?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but like when it came out, it was green as anything. So
it was green as anything.
Green and scaly. Anyway, I won't interrupt anymore.
Okay.
He will.
Remember the green children of Woolpit?
Yep.
Good. Remember how they said they came from underground?
Yep.
Ever read The Journey to the Center of the Earth?
Nope.
By Jules Verne?
This sounds like one of those.
Jesus. I didn't expect I was going to get this response.
I've seen the movie. It sounds like one of those infomercials. Are you tired? Are you tired of eating just beans? Is your skin starting to turn green? Then you should try eating human food.
Eating human food.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I didn't really know where I was going with that.
Yeah. So you haven't read Journey to the Center of the Earth by Jules Verne?
No, but I've seen the movie with Brendan Fraser, and that's all I need to know.
So you get the idea of...
I get the idea.
Okay. Or watch the Matrix trilogy.
I've seen the Matrix trilogy.
Fan-fucking-tastic.
Yup. Are we saying the trilogy is fan-fucking-tastic, or that I'm
just over it. I'm being sarcastic.
Okay.
Ever wondered what was beneath your feet? For centuries, tales of life under the Earth's crust has ignited imaginations. For some, those tales are based on truth, an entire world within our own. They have wildly active imaginations that I'm sure, if redirected, could produce entertaining works of fiction, after maybe being revised by an experienced editor, possibly publishable. But it is for me today to delve into their minds. So shall we?
Sure.
People, hollow Earth theory is an inescapable fact. Our world holds within its center a world with its own day and night, with rainbow-hued landscapes where a highly advanced race of reptilian overlords exist. They access our world by portals like the one Jules Verne wrote of. They put on their highly advanced flesh masks, infiltrating our governments and public figures to manipulate us.
Hillary Clinton.
We've all seen the YouTube videos indoctrinating us to their own will, which is why the Christian church is just littered with them. Hell, they think they're gods. Throughout our history, they've been worshipped as such. Think ancient Anunnakis, judges of the underworld, the real subterranean evil Nordics. Damn Nazis. Nagas, the rulers of Patala.
See? Evil Nordics. I told ya.
No. Evil reptilians.
Evil Nordics.
Reptilians.
Or maybe the Nordics are reptilian by nature.
Well, reptilians do have skin masks, as previously mentioned. As I was saying, Nagas, the rulers of Patala, the seventh layer of the underworld in Hindu scripture, known to have highly advanced tech, reputation to abduct, torture, kill humans. The huge amount of cultures with underworlds. It's all here, people. It's also said they co-inhabit this land with the likes of Atlanteans, Vikings, damn Nazis, aliens, super aliens, the lost tribes of Israel, giants, and even mammoths.
You know, the Lost Tribes of Israel is a Mormon thing.
Yeah, you people have a lot of things, okay, honey? Don't be fooled by UFO sightings coming from above. They come from below. Think like those sightings at Pine Gap. We were only created to be experimented on, even used as a food source. Soylent Green, anyone? We're just so tasty, like the cattle they look at us as. For God's sake, evidence of them is seen in auroras. Don't be fooled, sheeple. They are not caused by collisions between fast-moving particles from space reacting to gas in our atmosphere. No. The fact is, plain and simple, that it's the inner sun leaking. They are everywhere. The moon, the sun, every star in our sky. Which is why we never see any aliens when we're using our big telescopes. They are hidden, and they do not want to be found. Don't tell me people haven't tried to unearth, see what I did there, our overlords. I'll count them off. The 17th century, Edmund Halley, of Halley Comet's fame, proposed that the Earth was hollow-looking, like a dartboard with 7 rings within. 1811, Norwegian sailor Olaf Jensen, with his father, sailed through to the interior, living there for years before returning, and told their story to Willis George Emerson, who exposed this truth to the world in the book The Smoky God. Next, those damn Nazis, with their occult exploration of the Arctic region to find those Vril. Campaigns, Operations High Jump, and Operation Deep Freeze in Antarctica by the US military. People will tell you otherwise, but they were looking for access points into Hollow Earth. 1943, after World War II, German soldier Karl Unger made it there on the submarine U-209 and was granted asylum there. He wrote a letter and sent it back to his friends on Outer Earth. The approximate English translation of Karl's letter is as follows. Dear old comrade, this news will be a surprise for you. The U-209 Untersbot made it. The Earth is hollow! ! Dr. Uschfer and Hess were right. The whole crew is well, but they cannot come back. We are not prisoners. I am sure this news will reach you. It is the last connection with the U-boot 209. We will meet again, comrade. I am worried for everyone who has to spend his life on the surface of the earth since the Führer is gone. God bless our Germany always, with hearty greetings.
Fucking Nazis.
Fucking Nazis. 2008. Rodney Clough, a true believer, wrote the book Our Living Hollow Earth, where tribes are brought down. Bravely, he was going to go in search of the opening to Hollow Earth, but unfortunately, luck has not been on his side.
What do you mean?
So they had an itinerary of how they were going to get there and how they were going to get back.
Right.
But then people would mysteriously die. Funding would be mysteriously gone. And they haven't been able to.
Huh. That's why you don't announce your itinerary or your plan.
Well, he did that with the book. So he was actually trying to voyage down there the year before the book was actually released.
Right.
And I think maybe to gain some funding, he maybe released it. Not quite sure.
I see. Yeah.
And that is the crazy ass theories between reptilians and the hollow earth. And with that, I am done.
Well, it was expertly written.
Thank you. It was really hard to sound like I believed in that stuff.
Yes, I know how much of a thorn in the side it must have been.
But I think I, tried to be true.
I loved it. I thought it was a great, epic.
Oh my God, I just thought. Okay, so
Right. Okay, what?
the damn Nazis.
Right, yep, those damn Nazis, yep.
Many of them in Hollow Earth.
Mm-hmm.
1950s, the Nordics came.
Right.
The Aryan race came.
So
they're reptilians.
So you're saying that the Nordic aliens are Nazis?
They were inspired by the Nazis.
But these ones are trying to do peace.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. But timeline-wise, it makes sense.
Timeline-wise, execution-wise, theory-wise, and every other wise, not so much.
But they could have maybe.
Although,
okay.
Sorry to cut you off, but this is good. Maybe they came under false pretense of peace and love so that they could get to President Eisenhower to try to get him to disarm the nukes and everything, but that backfired because it was secretly Germans, hence the blonde and the and they were, I don't know, stilts or some shit. That's why they were so tall. Or maybe living underground stunts your growth, makes you a little bit taller.
Definitely, I feel like.
Yeah.
Stunts your growth, but makes you taller.
Okay, yeah, stunt. The word stunt doesn't necessarily mean stop.
Yes, but stunts is slow. Reduce. Yeah, I don't think Darcy likes our theories.
I think he's worried that we'll find out what he really is.
Okay, so if these Nordics maybe wanted to preserve our Earth, could see all the damage we were doing to it, and we're like, how best to talk to these people? So they go on down to Hollow Earth, where they think their fellow aliens, well, subterranean aliens, I don't know, wouldn't mind having a bit of a talk about it. They meet up with the Nazis, and the Nazis like, hey, I'll let you know, this is the only way to look like a human, because it's their idea of perfection.
True. What if then Hitler didn't kill himself?
Hitler's down there,
running the show.
Darcy's upset by that thought.
Yeah.
I'm upset by that thought.
I'm upset by that thought. I love how this went from alien.
Everything always circles back to the Nazis.
Yep. I mean, there are early images of alien warships, well, Nazi warships that look an awful lot like UFOs. So
it's all here, people.
It's all here.
Don't be a sheeple.
Don't be a sheeple, people.
Alrighty. But yeah, if you do ever want to have a good look at alien theories, I really would suggest Alien Like Us. It's available on Spotify.
And if you want a group of friends that just get together, shoot the shit about all sorts of crazy conspiracies of all sorts of different things, I would check out Alien Theorists Theorizing. But yeah, so that was Nordic Aliens and Reptilians.
Reptilians and the Hollow Earth theory.
And the Hollow Earth theory, yep.
I feel actually a bit bad sometimes when I become ultra cynic and laugh at people, only because I do think 100 years ago, we look at those people and go, how did you not believe this or that or whatever? Like hygiene, the levels of hygiene and that just washing your hands can reduce the chances of disease and infection so much.
People nowadays still don't believe that.
Ain't that the freaking truth? But, like all these things that they thought were real, that at one point people, I was going to say people believe the earth is flat. Guess what? People still do believe that too. But, like that the science of the day, the scientific theory of the day was wrong. But that the best minds working together, that was what they came up with. So should I maybe just be a bit more humble?
No.
No?
No, because it's funny.
So guys, I think Darcy needs to go to sleep.
Yep. He's being a royal pain in the ass.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. Next, we are talking about... Oh my God. Thank you for listening. I hope you have enjoyed our witty banter about alien species. Please listen to our next episode about Australian serial killers.
It's a good one. We've got some
so
good
many
topics
to choose from.
Yep.
In the meantime, please vote for which story you liked the best. Which shit talking did you prefer? Summer or Sam?
I honestly think it's not much of a contender, to be honest.
All right.
Yours was expertly written.
Oh, thank you. And you can vote for us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Or, of course, always give us an email if you'd prefer at campfireconspiracies.podcast@gmail.com.
Yep. All of our links are on our Instagram through our link tree. So if there's any questions you need, feel free to shoot us a DM. Until then, keep those campfires burning.